After getting the ice beam in Metroid Prime, the game throws a sequence at you which I think is one of the biggest flaws in its overall design. Personally, this is one of my favorite games ever made, but the chain of events after getting the ice beam always seemed weird to me, and is probably the reason why certain players get frustrated with the backtracking in this game. The beam can be found in Chozo Ruins in the antechamber next to a room called the Reflecting Pool. Once the player gets this rad icy weapon, they're able to open white doors, and so the game presents them with 3 ways to go. The door at the end of the room leads to an elevator to Talon Overworld South. Another door leads to an elevator to Talon Overworld East. Then, of course, the third option is for the player to go back the way they came into Chozo Ruins. While this seems odd, there were a few white doors back there they would have just passed, so they may decide to go back and check those out. In doing so, they'll open a couple side paths and nab themselves an energy tank. After that, they'll almost certainly head back to the Reflecting Pool, since no sane person would backtrack all the way back through Chozo Ruins and ignore these 2 new doors. If they take the elevator down to Talon Overworld South, they'll find themselves in a large room where they can't proceed in any direction. This is a dead end for now, with the exit literally being gated off from the other side. So the player will be forced to take the lift back up to Chozo Ruins. This makes the elevator to Talon Overworld East the only real option, one that just about every single player will take. When they do, they'll find themselves in a familiar place, the Frigate Crash Site, a room that can be accessed right at the start of the game. If the player had come here at the start of the game, they'd have seen the wreck of the frigate on the other side of a deep pool of water. They'd probably assume they need the grapple hook to get across, since there are grapple points leading to the other side. Even if they'd found another way across, the entrance to the frigate is locked behind a white door, so they'd have to turn back. But now the game has the player approaching the frigate from above, and they just got the ice beam, so they can now open this door. It's a new area, they now have the means to access it, and since the game so obviously implies that this is the way forward, 99% of players will enter the ship. But this is a massive mistake. You're not supposed to go in here. What the player was actually supposed to do after getting the ice beam was to backtrack all the way back through Chozo Ruins to Magmoor Caverns, all the way through Magmoor Caverns to Fendrana Drifts, all the way through the drifts to this little white door over here, where they can go into a cave and find the gravity suit. Then they were supposed to go all the way back and then go into the Frigate Crash Site. Because if you try to go in here without the gravity suit, which the game literally tricks you into doing, you'll fall down to the bottom of this reactor core and get stuck in this watery shithole where you can barely move or see, and you can't get out, and you keep getting dragged off the ledges by these things, and you can barely make these jumps. Then you finally get to the end and you can't jump up this ledge, and then the game tells you this. And then you're like, what? And then it tells you that you have to go, like, way to the other side of the world. Okay, then why not put this obstruction right in the first hallway of the frigate, so that the player can't even enter without the next upgrade? Why lead them here and then let them sink all the way to the bottom, only to force them to climb right back out and do it all again later? It's just classic padding, just wasting the player's time. Anyway, sub for more gaming analysis videos, full-length Metroid Prime video coming soon.